Okay, and we're live. Hooray! So today we're going live with Lead Like a Wolf Pack. I think it's really interesting because you know how a wolf pack leads? I actually don't know, but that's what we're going to talk about, hopefully, because, yeah, I do want to know. Lead Like a Wolf. This is going to be an introductory interview with Dina Brown Mitchell and Christopher Armani. Christopher, hopefully I said your last name right. But let me go ahead and bring them on because, you know, they can say their names a lot better than me. First up is Dina. How are you doing, Dina?
Hi, Erica. It's so great to be here. And you said my name perfect.
Hooray! I always wonder about that. Okay, and we have Christopher. Hey, Christopher.
Hey, how you doing, Erica? Thanks for having us here.
I am so glad you guys are here. If you guys are watching the tech problems, but wow, you got to love people with patience. You guys would never know if I wouldn't have told you, but you got to love people with patience. Let me do a quick introduction here. So today we're going to get into a conversation that goes beyond business and strategy to the heart of what it means to lead, live, and truly flourish. I'm happy to introduce two great mentors and real life transformation catalysts. If you don't know what that means, it's like the kickoff, the thing that gets you started. Yeah, that. Okay, so Dina Brown Mitchell and Christopher Armani, the visionary duos behind Wolfpack Mentors and the upcoming retreat, Lead Like a Wolf, The Ascent. Dina is a best-selling author, award-winning entrepreneur, and event producer. Woohoo! You got to shout out those event producers. Okay. Best-selling event producer who's built and rebuilt 7 businesses. Her personal journey from burnout to regret to building a real life of intention is one. Yeah. She now uses that knowledge to guide other entrepreneurs away from the grind and towards more fulfilling visions of success. Christopher is a writer, mentor, publisher, author of over 50 books. Wow, 50. I wonder what the world record is because that's a lot.
It's a lot more than 50.
All right. So after spending 10 years stuck in unfinished manuscript land, he founded his breakthrough and now he's helping others do the same. His mission to empower leaders to tell their stories, finish what they've started, and create meaningful work that lasts. Woohoo! Okay, so together they're helping high performance leader. Hopefully that's you guys listening. Performance leaders reclaim their time, creativity, and purpose with a bold message. You didn't come this far to burn out. You came to live. So please help me welcome Dina and Christopher.
Woo-hoo.
How'd I do?
Awesome. You sound amazing.
That's great. Okay, so now I want everybody to get to know our mentors. So we start pushing some buttons here.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, I love buttons. Let's start simple. Hopefully it's simple. Who are you, Dina, Christopher? And what do you each want to know about you beyond your bios?
Go, Dina, go.
I knew he was going to say that. That's his favorite thing. Go, Dina, go. Okay. So I think beyond my bio, I would say, to be vulnerable, I'm a suicide survivor. I'm a nonprofit founder. I'm a advocate for mental health in a big way. I really care about people in general, and I really want to help entrepreneurs who have big ideas to change the world and to make a difference in their lives. I want to help them get to that next milestone. And that's what drives me. I got to build a lot of businesses, and I had a lot of success. And now I really want to use my knowledge and my experience and help other people.
Nice. Okay, Christopher, you're up. What do you
Next
want
up,
people to know about you?
um, well, I think like a lot of people, my childhood was not the greatest. I had parents that didn't know what they were doing. As a result, they made a lot of mistakes. There was a lot of abuse, physical, sexual, emotional, you name it. It was there. And my escape from that was reading. One of the things I'm most grateful to my parents for is they taught me how to read, and so books were my escape. And when I was that young person trying to figure out how to survive the day, Zane Grey westerns were my thing. And because he had characters that were like real men, people who would do the right thing even when it was difficult, even when it was not in their best interest sometimes, but they knew what the difference between right and wrong, and they simply did it. Um, and that led me to want to be a writer just like Zane Grey. That's sort of how I phrase it. And through that journey of trying to figure out how to write a book, I would like to think at least that I've fulfilled some of that promise of Zane Grey, is like trying to be living in integrity, trying to do the right thing even when it may not be comfortable, when it may not even be in my own best interests. It's still the right thing to do. Um, those are those are some of the things that are the values that I think that are really, really important. And I'm really grateful that I've got a partner in Dina that we share those values. So it's still there.
Nice. It's good to have friends. Good to have partners.
It's good to have folks that you're playing in the business sandbox with that that share your values and push you to be better every day. And I would like to think that
Okay.
Deana and I do that for each other.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
how did the two of you meet and decide to co-create Wolf Mentors?
Well, that's two very different stories, isn't it, Dina? I'll tell one part, Dina can tell the other. How we
All
met,
right.
and this may or may not be accurate, we met, I think it was in Pedro Deo's challenge, um, 3-day challenge, 5-day challenge, something like that. And then over the course of the next few months, we ended up being on the same events, and we ended up being tossed into the same breakout rooms together. And it was like, well, there clearly appears to be a message here. Maybe we should connect outside of this. And so we did. And that started the building of a relationship that is blossomed into whatever it is today. So Dina, you can talk about how we founded this. I'll lead in with, because we liked each other, we trusted each other, we were regularly on calls with each other just to help each other out. Go, Dina, go.
Yeah, I think we were both trying to start something online in different ways, and we were both very frustrated with tech and with you know listening to a lot of different coaches. We both have paid for many courses and coaching and all of that, and I think it was excuse me, it was that person that you met that had the same challenges, and it was like, we can commiserate together with like what was going on. And I think the the tech part for me was bad because I was about to run a challenge around that time, and I was using active campaign, and I had done it all myself and figured it out, but I'm so sorry. um, but I couldn't get it to work, and I had somebody who jumped on Zoom with me and helped me fix something. And it wasn't long after that I think we both learned about Go High Level. And when we found Go High Level, we were like, we found the right thing. Um, and so since then, we decided to not only start a mastermind, but we also have a Go High Level platform now for our clients. And so when we first started, it was all about how can we help other people get through all the stuff we've just been through, and be able to grow their businesses and make money for their families.
Nice. So hopefully you've mentioned Go High Level at least 3 times. Hopefully you're going to share your affiliate link with us. Okay, so what's something people assume about you or your work that totally misses the mark?
I think it's that we're just another mastermind. Because what we did in the beginning is we created 2 groups that were totally free, people we handpicked, invited to be in these groups. And they were both, one of them was 4 people, one of them was 5 people. And we wanted to prove our theory about how we could help people move forward. And we did that. And that is the basis of our mastermind. We do teaching, we do Q&A, we do tech calls, we do, all the things that other masterminds do.
Wait a minute. What's a mastermind?
Yeah, Deana, what's a mastermind? Yeah.
Let Christopher answer that.
Well, it's just that I get confused sometimes with masterminds and group coaching, and I don't know where the line is.
Well, if you want to stick strictly with Napoleon Hill's concept, it's a small group of people who are putting their collective wisdom together in one spot to solve one person's problem. So the way we've structured Wolfpack is that we have what we call accountability packs. And there's a maximum of 4 people in each one of those accountability packs, which means that every person gets to be on the success seat, on that hot seat, as some people like to call it, where they're bringing whatever their problem is to the table, and then the group is focusing on solving that for them. So that's the core foundation of it. And that's the when we were running these beta groups, what we heard over and over and over again is, I'll blow off every other call on my calendar, but I will never miss this one, because they were getting so much value out of it. They were able to get their questions answered, their problems solved, as well as be able to pitch in and help others. I mean, and that's the core of this to me, is service to others, because we're put on this earth for that very purpose, to be able to serve others to whatever capacity God's put in our hearts. And I'm really grateful that Dina and I share that, another one of those core values. Like, we're service oriented. We want to make sure that whatever the problem is that you're bringing to the table, that you're getting the help you need to solve it. How's that? How'd I do?
Okay, couple of more nosy questions. There's only 4 people allowed in a group. Do you guys meet like once a week or once a month?
Point. The accountability packs are weekly.
Okay.
The Q&As are monthly. We do the tech stuff. We do that, the open office hours for that weekly, because what we never want is for someone to have to go longer than 7 days to try and figure out what a problem is going on. And of course, we've got other avenues for them to reach out to us. So it's not like you can only contact us during these hours. That's not it at all. We've got a community that we use to so that people can reach out and ask whatever help they need. Everyone can pitch in and answer those questions, because one of the things that Dina and I absolutely are not is, we're not your guru. We're not your savior. We're here to facilitate you getting the help that you need.
Okay, I understand that. So I got another question. I'm back on track now. Thank you for answering my question, Christopher. I really do appreciate that. Backstory and transformation. So Dina, this is for you. So let me put you front and center here. You've openly shared about overworking, losing, and bouncing back from losing a multi-million-dollar business. What was the biggest personal lesson from that chapter in your life?
Oh my goodness. I think it just strengthened my faith, because my dad said to me every day of my life, God has a plan for you. And when I was younger, I was like, yeah, whatever, Dad. As I got older, I believed it more. But I think during the time of losing my friend to suicide and losing my business to COVID, it really solidified that belief for me, because I felt like I was being called to start the Realize Foundation, which is the nonprofit about suicide prevention. And I think that if COVID wouldn't have happened and I wouldn't have lost a business, I would have never been able to do it. So I am thankful for all of everything that's happened, and I do think that's why it happened, because I was supposed to create the Realize Foundation, and I spent 3 years working only on that. And then when Christopher and I started this business journey, I was like, yay, I get to be back in the business world because I miss it. But now I get to do both, and I would have never been able to do that before.
All right. Okay, Christopher, I got one for you here. So let me put you back front and center. So, Christopher, you said you spent 15 years finishing a book. What finally flipped the switch for you, and how did that moment shape your approach as a mentor?
Well, I guess the switch that got flipped was probably twofold. One, I was just so sick of never being able to finish the first draft that I finally became willing to do the things that I'd heard about but refused to do, because I knew that wouldn't work. And I, like, whatever the thing was, I knew that wouldn't work for me. And I had a long litany of excuses of why that was. So when I finally ditched the excuses, ditched the I know better than these people that have been doing this for 40 years or whatever the time frame was, I finally did the things that simply work. So I sat down and I did the thing that I had refused to do, because, you know, if you create an outline, well, that's going to suck all the fun out of writing. I knew this in my gut. I knew this in my heart. Writing from an outline was no way to write a book. What I have come to discover is that I was grossly wrong about that. It's the only way to write a book. And I'll qualify that with a for me. Because one of the things I really despise is when someone says, this is the only way you can do this. Well,
I like that for math.
It might be that it may be the only way to do it for you, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for me. And so I focus on the things that shifted the needle for me, which is really, I now today, I say that writing a book is the simplest thing in the world. You sit down, put your hands on the keyboard, and you write for some number of days. And I can tell you exactly, using manuscript math, how many days that will be based on your skills and your abilities. And at the end of that time, your first draft will be done. Now, the hard part is getting your butt in the chair and following a really simple 3-step plan for success. Make a decision, follow that decision with effective, immediate action, repeat. And it's that in-between point between making the decision and then implementing that decision by action. In that slot is where fear lives. That's where self-doubt lives. That's where I'm not good enough lives. So it's a matter of overcoming those thoughts and reprogramming your brain so that you're thinking better thoughts. Napoleon Hill talked a lot about, what was that quote? It's whatever you can conceive and believe, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, you can achieve. And a big part of that statement is all about getting rid of all those limiting beliefs, all those lies that we were told, lies that we've internalized, lies that we told ourselves, so that in-between gap between decision and action gets faster and faster and faster with less input, less nonsense from that voice that I call my infernal editor. Super simple stuff once I figured it out. And so that's what I work on teaching other people now when it comes to writing books, is like, it's so easy and so simple. And we can get all of your big problems out of the way in a single day if you'll just sit down with me for like 4 hours. And then all that's left at the end of that day is sitting down every day and writing. And it's that self-discipline. So hopefully that answered your question. I felt like I went on a bit of a tangent.
Yeah. You already know on a tangent. It's discipline is what will get us what we want. So discipline is what we need. My biggest problem with writing is asking for help. So to know that you're there, it's nice. And I do feel like it's okay to ask for help. It takes me a minute, but now that you're telling me that you're there, I think I could do it.
Well, and take it from the guy who spent 15 years never completing a first draft. I mean, that was awful. So whatever the excuses you're telling yourself about why you can't do this, believe me, been there, done that, burned the t-shirt. And I can show you how to burn it too. Yeah.
Okay. So Dana,
Yeah.
I'm my question list. I got to come back to you because you already know I'm nosy. You said God has a plan for you. Your daddy told you this every day. When did you know? When did you start believing? When did you see a plan?
Oh man. Not when I was young, that's for sure. I think it was probably in my 30s, and it got stronger, past that, 40s, 50s. I think it's just it's also the time that you spend close to God, in my opinion. Like I spend time every day reading. I have a book called Jesus Calling, and I read it every day for years. And every time I read it, it's like the perfect thing, and it's like I've never heard it before, even though I've read the book like multiple times. So I think it's about being open to what God has in store for you, and what your path is, and it changes, because you can be on one path, and then like we've been talking about, things change. And I think it really matters to stay close to him and to trust him in a way that you get up every day and do what you think you're supposed to do, and he is in control, not us. And that's what I believe.
Okay. Thank you. I do appreciate you telling me the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Christopher, back to you. When was your just do it moment? When did you find discipline? Because my habit is ain't nobody looking for that. That means I don't have to do it. I don't have to follow through. There's no need for me to look for discipline because ain't nobody looking for that. I've been trying to put on an event for like the past 3 years. I think this year's gonna be the year. So I want to know when did you find your just do it moment to get those books published?
Well, it goes back way further than that. When I was young, I would have been about 20 years old, I discovered a sport called racquetball, and I fell in love with it. And I spent, and I had a lot of natural ability for it as well, and so I got quite good quite fast. But at the core of all of that was, for me, the fitness level was the thing that was the most important, because I may not be the most skilled player on the planet, but if I can last on that court, if I can run around that court longer than you can, I'm going to win. And so for me, discipline, that's where I first implemented discipline in a really big way in my life. Working out every day, 2-3 times a day, doing various things, training for tournaments, traveling to tournaments, doing all that stuff. So, I mean, that would be my discipline starting point, I suppose you could say. And then applying that to writing, it's probably when I decided to create a blog, not to say anything out to the world, but simply as a tool for writing and publishing some sort of content every single day to build a daily writing habit. Because in my heart, I knew that writing every day was the answer, and I just needed to build that habit. And through all of this, I'm learning the skills of writing. I'm learning what works, what doesn't. I'm learning how to build what is now today the Armani method for writing, but was then just a series of things. I'm trying to cobble together what are the things that actually work for me, as opposed to what everyone else is telling me I ought to do. But the core of all of that was the daily discipline, just to sit down and write. And that daily blog I wrote I published a new piece of content every single day for almost 20 years. And it finally ended when through a bunch of this, I was working in the movie industry. And if you're not familiar with that, it means you get to work, 16, 18-hour days every day and work yourself around the clock every week. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great things that go on, but one of the downsides is that you have no life. You have no time for yourself. So trying to maintain that discipline throughout that process just got increasingly more difficult. And that's ultimately one of the reasons why I left the industry, is like, if I can't do the thing that actually makes my heart sing, what am I doing here? Yeah. Hopefully that answers your question.
We can't hear you.
We've lost your audio, Erica. Oh no. At least I still can't hear you. Yeah.
Oh no!
There you are.
There you are.
Oh,
She's
you
back.
can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hooray! Okay. Pushing buttons got me to forget, but I want to know, is completing something you winning for you? Because for me, that is winning.
100%.
And I like to win.
You know, and
For
oddly,
both.
I think
Okay.
so, yeah.
Okay, I do have a question for both of you. So I want to know now, both of you have faced burnout in different ways. What does living intentionally look like for you now?
boy, apparently I get to go first. Lucky you.
Oh, now I can't hear you, Christopher.
Uh-oh. Nothing's changed over here.
I can hear
More
you.
buttons to
hear you
push. Okay. Speaker, go.
Woohoo. What was the question?
I can take love me, and it's going to work today.
Yep.
Okay, Christopher, one more time, just in case you didn't hear me. You face burnout in different ways. What does living intentionally look like for you now?
Well, I think it's being faithful to whatever the process God's put in front of me to do. And that doesn't mean that it's easy. It means doing, I guess it boils down to the integrity of it all. Doing what I say I will do, when I say I will do it, whether I feel like it or not, which is really the plan that I talk about for writing. Is like, sit down every day and write every single day, whether you feel like it or not, because you're the reader of your book, the person whose life you're going to save with whatever the story you're sharing in your book is. They don't give a crap that on Tuesday, July 4th, you didn't feel like writing. All they're going to give a crap about is the fact that you got this thing done and it's in their hands and it's solving their problem. So relating that to my day-to-day is I just try and do that. Like right now, we're working on some marketing stuff, and it's a learning curve, and it's stuff that's out of my comfort zone. So I guess it boils down to, in that, do what you said you're going to do, whether you feel like it or not. Just keep doing it. Because eventually, the more you do it, it gets comfortable, right? That's the strange little secret of it all. It's only uncomfortable because you haven't done it much. You do it 20 times in a row, guess what? It gets easy. You don't even think about it anymore.
That's true. I still drag my feet with some long form events, but I get it done.
Just means you're human like the rest of us. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Dina, how about you? You face burnout in different ways. What does living intentionally look like for you?
I think living intentionally for me looks like this book that I wrote. Because it's what I wrote in that book is a 12-step framework that I used to get my life back after having a successful business. And I think that living intentionally, obviously I talked about my faith and that's part of it, but I think it's also making decisions in your business that keep you from being the bottleneck and the the person who is doing everything all the time and never putting yourself first. If you're that person, then you might want to read the Shower Genius book, because it's really, how do we get out of that mode? I was working 18 hours a day, always telling my friends and family no, always putting myself last, taking care of everyone else. And as business owners, and especially as moms and business owners, we tend to do that. And I think that we have to learn how to stop doing that and be intentional with our time and with our thoughts and our mindset and everything, so we can have a life and a thriving business. And that is my utmost shout to the rooftop message to everyone in the business world.
All
They're
right.
not mutually exclusive. Yeah.
So my husband tells me that is respect. When you take care of yourself, you see that other people need stuff around you. You take your time, you're doing all of that for other people. But if you're not doing it for yourself, he says that means you're not respecting yourself. So
Smart guy.
Yes. Definitely.
okay, so meets this one here. A mission behind the movement. Living intentionally, flourishing every day. It's more than a tagline. What does the phrase mean to each of you personally? And I think we just said all of that, right? I feel like we did. Okay.
To a degree, but let Dina run with this one just for a moment.
Okay.
So we talked about the intention, which is really important. But I think the flourishing every day looks different for everybody. I think flourishing every day to me means enjoying what you're doing. You're furthering your passion or your purpose in the world, and you're the light and the joy for the people around you. Because if you're in a good place, then you can be that uplifting person for the people around you. And I think that's really important.
Okay.
Agreed.
Did you have anything to add to that, Christopher?
Maybe. I think living with intention for me means going back to that simple 3-step process for success. Make a decision, follow that decision with immediate effective action, repeat. Got to be intentional about these things, because you don't obtain success by chance. You obtain success by a very well established pattern of behavior, and what is I always forget the second part of this thing. Living intentionally, I want to say thriving every day, but flourishing every day. Flourishing every day really is about fulfillment for me. And that comes a lot of different ways. That can come from writing a piece of sales copy that, oh my goodness, this is awesome. It can come from doing something small yet thoughtful for my wife that she appreciates. It can come from delivering a solution to a problem for a client that they've struggled with for forever. It can come from all kinds of places, but that for me is the flourishing part is all about that and living in gratitude, really.
Okay. May I ask, is there a difference between flourishing and thriving?
I'm sure there is. Thriving.
If there is, I don't know it.
Well, one of the things that we talk about a lot is that you can survive as a lone wolf, but you can only thrive with a pack. Now, thriving, I guess, could be, in my brain, is, at least right this moment, is equating to being successful at something. Whereas flourishing the way I interpret flourishing, at least, is it's more other focused. It's more about service to others, and that feeling of, what was the word that I used, of fulfillment. So they are two different things to me. I don't know that they're a whole lot different, but they do have two separate threads in my head.
Okay. Thank you for that. The next question is, why do you think so many successful entrepreneurs feel like something is missing?
Because too many of us are trying to do it all alone.
That's true. You got me.
At its core, we are people who sit alone in an office or in our room or whatever you want to call it, trying to figure it all out by ourselves. And there's just a way easier way. You know? I mean, and I think at its core, that's what Wolfpack is all about, is being the easier way.
Yeah. So what you're saying is I don't need a bigger tech stack. I need to be around more people. I hear you.
Well, the tech stack will solve certain problems, but it's not going to be the answer. The people are the answer. So if you're not involved with other people who are struggling with the same things you are, or overcoming the same challenges you are, or just being willing to help someone else with literally nothing to gain for themselves,
Mhm.
it's going to be really, really hard to be successful.
Yeah. You're saying that me and Chat aren't really best friends?
Oh, no, that definitely are. One of my best friends as well. However, he's never, he, she, it, whatever you want to call it, is never going to give you the same level of openness, honesty, vulnerability, and there's probably another word somewhere I'm looking for, that a group of 4 other people all focused on your issues, your problems, the big problem you want to solve today. Chat will never deliver that for you. That will only come from other people, because chat can't see all the nuance. Chat can't come at it from 77 different viewpoints like 4 people in a room can do. It's
Mhm.
crazy, but it's so effective.
I gotcha. Dina, you got anything to add to that? Why do you think so many successful entrepreneurs still feel like something is missing?
Yeah,
You have anything to add?
I think it's usually, if they feel like something's missing, it's usually purpose. Because, you know, I've started several businesses and I get really involved and really focused on the accomplishments and the success and the sales and all of those things. And at the end of the day, all of that can work and be great, but you're left with an empty feeling if you don't have a purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I learned through losing my business in 2020 is that I had a great business. I enjoyed what I did. I loved the people I worked with. I had a great team, but I didn't feel like um through that journey I learned about purpose, and the way that I really learned about that was the book The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And know, I was in Barry and Blue's thing for a year with the virtual event, and she gave us that book. And when I read it, it just was this huge aha for me because it talks about your zone of excellence versus your zone of genius. And I learned that I had been operating in my zone of excellence my whole life. And it was fine. I was happy. I liked what I did. I was good at it. People thought I was good at it. But when I learned that there was
You were
another
good at it.
zone, when I learned that there was a zone of excellence and what that looked like, it made a big difference. And I think it made a big difference on me at that time because I was feeling like I was supposed to start this nonprofit and I had no idea what I was doing. But seemed much more of a purpose to me and much more connected to my heart than my event company was, if that makes sense.
Okay, I got to get off the subject and be nosy again. You
Okay.
ran a multi-million-dollar event business, which is so cool. Did you really need the event on virtual events?
Well, I had always done in-person events. I didn't even know there was a virtual event option. I didn't know that there was, I also didn't know the enrollment, like coach stuff. I didn't know anything about all that. So it was 2020, I was, trying to decide what to do. And all of my business had canceled for the whole year. And I saw an ad on Facebook for the virtual event on virtual events. And I was like, what the heck is a virtual event? I guess I need to figure that out. Maybe it will help me. So
Did it?
that's why I ended up at TVE1 and followed, I was in their program for a year. I met a lot of awesome people and I learned a lot. I would never have an online business now if I wouldn't have gone through that because I didn't understand this side of the business.
Okay, nice.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm back on track now. What kind of people are drawn to the wolf pack and what makes them stay?
I think people who are drawn to the wolf pack are people who are driven, they have big ideas, they want to make something happen, and they've tried it on their own, and they know they figure out that they need support. And I think they stay because they get the support and they get the help and they get the camaraderie and the feedback from everybody, and it really is a community where people are super supportive of each other.
Okay.
Yep.
Christopher, you agree with that? You got the same answer to
Wholeheartedly.
that?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we go back
All
to
right,
the
then.
three biggest pains for entrepreneurs is working alone, feeling isolated, and not knowing what your next step is.
Yeah.
Well, Wolfpack solves that, or helps you solve it for sure, because someone's been in the exact stage you are, no matter what it is. Someone in the group, in the community, has been there, and will offer some piece of advice that will go, you know what, that actually makes sense. I'm going to do that.
Mhm.
And the beauty of the weekly cycle is that you get to come back and report what happened. Did you take the action? And if yes, then what was the result? Did it solve the problem like you thought it might? And if it doesn't, we go and attack it again. But typically it does. And that weekly accountability is such an important thing because, I mean, Dina and I are both really driven people. And yet, as driven as we are, we still need the accountability of each other to make sure we're getting everything done. Left to our
Okay.
own devices, there'll be other things that simply will fall off the table because of whatever. Well, I don't want to. I don't feel like it. All that crap that just actually is meaningless, but we use as excuses.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't believe how much Japanese anime I found on YouTube to help me keep distracting myself. Oh, yeah. And there's a lot.
I
I've
probably
made
would.
playlists. Woo.
We all have our distractions or the things that we
Mhm.
want to use to avoid doing the uncomfortable thing we know we need to do. And
Yeah.
I suppose if there's one thing that we try and instill in people is in the wolf pack or wherever we're talking to them in or out of it, is that do the uncomfortable thing because it's on the other side of the uncomfortable thing that your success is living and waiting for you.
Yeah.
And I need to hear that just as much as anyone else does today, right? it's, it's as true for me today as it was for whoever might be hearing and going, oh my goodness, that was brilliant. Right? It's just one of those things that we all need to keep hearing every single day because we have the same issue every day. There's procrastination. The infernal editor is going to get in there and start talking the nonsense. And if I'm not on my game, I'll listen to him. Really dumb mistake. But it's a matter of overcoming all of that stuff every single day.
Yeah.
It's almost as if at the beginning of every single day, I started 0 and I got to work my way back up to 10. Right? Yeah.
I like to tell my son, if you do it, it will be done, and I won't have to ask you to do it anymore. Yeah.
That's a
I
good
think I
one.
need to set an alarm to say that for
That's
myself.
it, right? Yeah. I mean, just record that, put it on your phone, and hit play like every 7 minutes, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Every time I want to go to my YouTube playlist for that Japanese
Yeah.
anime. Okay.
Well, Tony Robbins has this great thing that he delivers in that great big booming voice of his, and I love it. It's like, when is now the best time to get this done? Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. All we have is
I
now.
love that line of his, right? I really do. Because there's no running from it. It's the truth.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So next question is, inside the Ascent Retreat, what makes Lead Like a Wolf, the Ascent Retreat, different from the usual conferences or mastermind? I
That's
don't
easy,
really
Dina.
know what's a usual conference or mastermind, but I do know hanging out with Dina is cool. So tell me more,
Exactly.
please.
Exactly.
Well, the retreat is what I've been waiting for 3 years to do. So I'm so excited about this. It's going to be in January. It's going to be a small group. And it's basically going to be a, a combination of the Shower Genius framework and the Wolfpack processes. So like the first day, the first evening, we're going to get to know each other and network and have a little fun and social time. The first morning is probably the most important, and that is talking about the beginning of the shower genius framework, where we're in a place where we need change. And how do we do that? How do we figure out what change we need? And then how do we figure out how to make that change happen? And it's work on ourselves. So in my mind, we need to work on ourselves that first day, or a part of that first day, in order to get to the place where we can work on our business. Because if we, so the first phase of the Shower Genius framework is assess and acknowledge. And so you're assessing your situation, you're acknowledging what is not the way you want it to be. And so one of the first things we talk about is getting fed up, because if you don't get fed up with something, you're never going to change it. And then after that, it's really, I even have an exercise called the value of ranting, because if you rant to yourself on a video, Zoom, your phone, whatever, rant to yourself about something, things are going to come out in that rant that you're not going to consciously say out loud. And when you go back and listen to it, it's going to help you come up with ideas to fix whatever it is. And so there's 12 steps of this. That's the first two. But I think it's really important for us to explore those things in order to figure out what do we need to change, and then figuring out, as you know, as an individual or as a group or as a coach, how do we fix that and move forward from it. And then you're going to have, you know, another, you can do this framework every month, because you can find something and fix it, and then the next month you're like, okay, I think I need to go through that again, because I think there's something else that needs to change and I'm not sure what it is yet. So I think that part of the work is really, really important in order for us to work on the business, because once you make those changes in you, it's going to dictate what changes you need to make in the business, whether that's delegation or whether that's boundaries or whatever that is next that you have to explore.
All right. So I have another question here. You describe it as sacred container. What does that mean, and how do you create that kind of space? Either you or Christopher can answer that question.
Well, in my mind, it's sacred space because it's a small group of people who have some level of trust in each other and some level of vulnerability and authenticity, where we can really talk about what the problems are in a safe space where, you know, not like we take an oath or anything, but I mean, it's a small group and we're there to help each other. And I think we set the stage for that with the tone and the exercises and what we're trying to do. And I think people are really needing that and wanting that from the people I've been talking to. They want a space like that where they can talk to other business owners and be real about it. Because I think for too long, in even in my lifetime, it wasn't okay to have those conversations. And I think that those conversations are what make us grow and what make us have human connection and what make us have stronger, um, make us stronger people, make us stronger businesses. And so I think it's really important that this is something that business owners are willing to do to get to the next level that they want to get to. I can't hear you.
I'm going to ask you this next question. Can you give us a sneak peek of what one moment or activity during the retreat that can really move people?
Well, that'd be a Dina question. And I only say that because Dina's putting this thing together. This is her area, her zone of genius.
Okay.
Mine is other things. I mean, that's the beauty of this partnership, is that we both have a lot of talents with some overlap in the middle. So this one's definitely hers. maybe the thing I would want to just toss in there, though, is that at the core, we're all trying to figure out who is the person that I need to become in order to have this level of success. And so all the questions, the exercises, the vulnerability, the openness, it's all designed to help answer that question, along with what is the transformation path to make that change.
Mhm.
Well, Dina, do you want to add to that?
I can. I think that's true, and I think the misconception, even for me, until I was 50, was that as a business owner, you had to kind of keep everything to yourself. You had to do everything yourself. You had all the weight on your shoulders. You didn't. It was if you had a financial issue or a employee issue, it was something you kept to yourself. You didn't talk about it, and I think that that's wrong. I think that if we can't have peers that we can share and talk to about, we can't improve. We can't get better. We can't learn without those conversations. And so I think it's imperative that business owners have support. I think that's why masterminds are so popular right now, networking groups and all that. Because if we can't, it's like being a mom and you have a new baby and you've never had a baby before and you have a sister who has 3 kids, so you're going to go to her and talk to her about, hey, this is happening and I don't know what to do. Well, in business for so long we weren't open about it, and I think it's really important to be open about it if we want to grow to the success that we desire.
Yeah, I did. I have met a lot of people who say they join groups. People are going to take their ideas. Like, everybody can't do what you do. That's just how it works. You can do
Well,
something similar, but it'll never be the same.
but I also think that speaks to purpose, because everyone has a different purpose. Everyone has a different set of knowledge and wisdom and skill set. And I created a course a couple years ago called the Genius Equation to help people. It was after I read The Big Leap. I created this course to help people find their genius. What is your thing? Um, what is your purpose? What is your genius in you? And I think it's important for us to search for that if we're feeling lost or we're feeling like we're not in a place where we feel comfortable. And so that's another thing that I'm really passionate about, is like finding your purpose. Is your purpose on this earth is unique to you. And so if that's really true, we can't really steal ideas from each other. And if we do, it's like, okay, well, we're both using ChatGPT, or we're both doing XYZ, but we're not stealing each other's purpose.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Creativity and legacy. Christopher, you've published over 50 books. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs who want to share their stories but feel stuck?
Just do it. The 3-step process for success. Make the decision to write, sit down and write, repeat. It's that simple.
Okay.
It really, really is that simple.
And hire Christopher to help you, because he has a lot of tricks in his sleeve.
Yeah, Dina's one of my all-time favorite success stories, because I was running a challenge. This is sort of, we had known each other. We had started sort of collaborating a bit together, I suppose. She came to one of my challenges. She was literally missing like 1, maybe 2 pieces of the writing puzzle. She came to the challenge, got those 2 pieces, disappeared from my world for like 5 weeks. And when she showed up again, it was like, hey, look at my published book. I'm like, wow, that's so cool.
Nice.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be difficult. We make it so much more difficult than it is. I mean, and trust me, 15 years never completing a single first draft. I made it way more difficult on myself than was necessary. But it's confronting the fears. It's confronting the I'm not worthiness. I mean, this is a universal thing. Nobody thinks they're worthy of anything, right? Mm-hmm. And it's all such garbage. So the second we just set that pile of crap aside and do what God put in front of us to do, cool things happen.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
You just got to get it done.
And if
Okay.
you're struggling with purpose around that, just like forget about you writing the book and forget about it being published and forget about which royalty checks you might get or whatever. Put your reader at the center of all of that. If your reader has the problem that you have the solution to and you don't write and publish this book, guess what? They're stuck in that. So by you refusing to do the work, by you insisting on procrastinating, because I firmly believe that there's a certain set of readers that God has set aside just for you. And they may hear the same things from other people, but they can only hear it in a way that resonates with their heart through the way you say it. And so if you refuse to write it, they're stuck in that problem forever. So I don't want that. I don't want the weight of that responsibility on my shoulders ever. Right. I want to make sure that if God's put a book on my heart to write, then just sit down and do it. And the process can be really, really easy if you allow it to be.
Yeah. So how many books have you actually written? I know it says 50 plus or over 50.
Well, that's 50 published. How many have I written? Oh, I don't know. Probably easily double that.
Okay.
Just don't go asking silly questions like why aren't they published? Because I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, geez.
All right, Dan. Now I want to know.
Yeah.
But I'll ask Dina this question. Dina,
Yeah.
after 7 businesses, how do you decide when it's time to pivot, let go, start something new?
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know that I think there's only one I made a decision without being forced. Well, my first business was a snowball stand outside of my mom's nursery school, and it was my business during high school in the summers. And so when I graduated, obviously that went away. I had another business at one point when I was in California, and it was around perfume, and it was a really bad decision in the first place. And so I decided to close that one. But the event company, I probably would have, to be honest with you, I was planning on selling that company this year and retiring, and that didn't happen. And so then I got 3 more businesses. And one's a nonprofit, which is my heart. I will always be passionate about that. And then these other 2 that we're talking about now are just, I don't know that I will ever stop doing them. I feel like it's my life's work now. But I think if you have a business and you're not having fun, or you're not enjoying it, or it's not providing for you, then it's time to take a serious look.
Okay. So, what legacy do you each hope to leave through this work and beyond it? So, do you have anything in mind? Like, what do you want to leave behind?
I mean, speaking about the Realize Foundation, I just want to leave behind suicide rates. I want people to know there's hope. I want people to know they're not alone. And that is the utmost, most important message for me. And I think that it bleeds over into the business world and entrepreneurs and executives, and them also knowing they're not alone and there's hope, because what we were talking about earlier, like, can we have a conversation? Can we talk about the things that they're struggling with? And I just talked to somebody that does the business show that's going to be in Vegas. We're going to be there in October. And he said to me, he's like, all these 90% of the people that go to the show are executives and founders, and they are decision makers. And what they are asking, the number one thing they are asking for, is personal coaching. And that surprised me, but it makes me happy, because it means they're going to get the help they need to not only continue their success in business, but to to take better care of themselves.
Okay. Christopher, how about you? What legacy do you want to leave behind?
I'll put it two different ways. It's probably the identical same thing. Like my big why for writing, for helping other writers, is that I don't want anyone else to have to struggle through 15 years of insanity and self-imposed stupidity when there's just such an easier way. So, and I guess in terms of the wolf pack, it's a very similar thing, but with a slightly different focus, with slightly more of a tech focus, only because, I mean, the thing that brought Dina together with our Go High Level agency was the fact that she'd been trying her set of tools that were not working. I'd been building WordPress websites for ages. And in the middle of showing someone the funnel I had created for my latest, I think it was a 3-day challenge, maybe a 3-day event. And I clicked on the sign up button and it didn't work.
Oh,
I had no idea why. And I know WordPress inside out and backwards, yet it made no sense why this wasn't working. And it's like, but I'd spent so much of my time cobbling together, this piece of tech with that piece of tech with some of the third piece, trying to make this Frankenstein monster work together. And the Go High Level platform just solved that for me. So on one hand, it's a tech solution. On the other hand, it's a mindset issue. And that, again, I don't want people to be other business people suffering with all the crap that I had to go through to get to a place where I could actually allow myself to do the thing that is my zone of genius. So if I can leave a legacy of that, that's a great way to go.
nice. Okay. So I have a closer and calls to action. If someone watching this, nodding along, thinking, I need this, what's the first small step they can take to begin reclaiming their life?
Go, Dina, go.
Well, I was going to say you, Christopher, should tell them the link to our free quiz.
That's super easy. If you're wolfpackmentors.com/quiz. You can go there and find out. Well, it'll ask you a series of questions about what's going on in your world, what's going on in your business, what's going on in your mind, and help you figure out what the correct answer for you is. And there's basically 3 separate streams. And once you figure out what that is, then you actually have an answer that you can start moving forward with. And would we love you to move forward with us? Of course we would. I mean, that's why we're here. But what we want more than anything else is that you get the answer that you need and you can be successful. It's like when Dina came to my challenge and picked up the 1 or 2 pieces she was missing of that writing and publishing puzzle, disappeared for 5 weeks and then had the answer. Like that's what we want. We want people to get the answers that they need, get the help that they need, whether that's with or without us.
It makes sense. And you can find that on the website.
Yeah.
So how can people connect with you and learn more about Wolfpack Mentors and or the Ascent Retreat? Is that also on the website?
Yeah, on the top right corner of the homepage, there's a button that says Retreat, I think is what it says.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you click on that, that'll take you to a page where you can learn more about that.
Okay.
And I think
Nice.
if you scroll down, there's the free quizzes towards the bottom. Is that right?
I believe it is. I think there's 2 buttons for it, but yeah, let me
Okay.
over.
I did see the quiz on the homepage. Take the Entrepreneur's Clarity
There.
Quiz.
Yes.
That's the one.
Okay. So
And we're also building another fun one that is not quite live yet. Is that just to answer the question, what role in the wolf pack are you? Like, what is your role in the wolf pack? And so that's a really fun one. So that'll be out shortly. And when it's live, there'll be a button on the website for that as well.
all right. So Christopher, what's your favorite social media platform? Which one are you on the most?
I'm not a huge social media fan. The one that I'm on the most right now is Facebook.
Okay. Does that mean that we're most likely to find you on Facebook?
Yes, it's true. You will.
Okay.
The if you go to facebook.com/the Wolfpack Mentors, that'll get you to our Facebook page. And then for my own personal page, it's simply facebook.com/Christopher Armani. Just my name with no spaces, and away you go. And I think Dina's is the same for hers. Is that right, Dina?
My Facebook is Dina B. Mitchell.
Ah.
And my LinkedIn is also Dina B. Mitchell. And I'm
Okay.
on both of those platforms pretty often.
Yep.
So for both of you, your favorite social platforms is Facebook, and that's where people can most likely connect with you, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Or LinkedIn.
Okay. Okay, so August 1st at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific, and 8 a.m. Mountain Time, Dina and Christopher will have a masterclass talk for entrepreneurs missing life. Do you guys want to give us a little bit about that? Like, why should I show up for this talk?
Well, if you're feeling like you're not living intentionally or that you're not getting the fulfillment that you want, um, come show up and walk through the exercises with us to see if there's a solution there for you. Dina, what do you want to add to that?
I'll just say again what I said earlier is that if you have a business, whether you're a solopreneur trying to make it work or whether you have been in business for a while and you're successful by whatever standard you are measuring that by, and you feel like you don't have time for yourself, whether that's for like me time is what I call it, or is it, saying no to the people you care about most. um, I think you should show up so we can talk about how we can fix that, how you can keep the success and have those life moments and times with your loved ones and more self care in your life.
Because you really
All right.
can have a business and a life at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive.
Yes.
Nice. So I got one more thing I want to share here, and that's this. So I locked myself out. I didn't lock myself out. I can't see what I'm trying to show. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to show you. I'm pushing too many buttons too fast. So trying to make this bigger so you guys can see it too. And that is like terribly tiny, but I'm going to try my best here to show you what I'm trying to show. So this is what we were supposed out of this conversation, this candid conversation that we just had with Dean Christopher, why high performing entrepreneurs are burning out and how to stop it. I think we answered that, so I'm going to check that off. Christopher's journey from 15 years of unpublished manuscripts to 50 plus published books. We covered that. Dina's raw story of overwork, loss, and building her 7 businesses with intention. I think we covered that. Um, what really happened at a retreat, what really happens at the retreat, designed to reset your soul, not just your strategy. I think we covered that. And I have a nice little graphic here that
Mhm.
that shows that I think we covered that. The high performance, acknowledge burnout, intention and strategy, soul retreat, balanced entrepreneurs. So Dina, Christopher, you guys can tell me if we didn't cover those things because I think we did. And I just wanted to make sure everybody here watching us knew that we covered the things that we said we were going to talk about because I like it when people follow through.
Do
I
what you
like
say you're
it.
going to do when you say you're going to do it, whether you feel like it or not. I think we all wanted to do this. This is super fun, but I don't think we missed anything. So we probably added a whole bunch more stuff too, which is always fun.
Yeah, and I love the graphic.
Yeah, the graphic was. I was like sitting there going, "Wow, that's really cool." Wish I had done
Napkin
it.
AI. It's
Napkin
nice.
AI.
Yes.
Napkin AI is your friend. Who knew? Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to hold you guys up any longer. I want to say thank you, Dina. Thank you, Christopher, for being here with us. I really do appreciate your time, energy, and patience, especially you guys sharing your knowledge with us so freely. I do appreciate that.
Well,
So,
we appreciate you.
Ready?
Thank you
Good
for
night for
having
now.
us.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. This was awesome.
All right. See you guys Friday.